I lost my husband, my son, and the life we built, because I let another man kiss me in the front seat of his car while he and our son prepared a surprise dinner for me back home. It wasn't love. It wasn't even real. Just a stupid rush I convinced myself I deserved until everything else around me collapsed. My name is Sarah Whitfield. I'm 39 years old. I had the life I always dreamed of having. I used to be a proud wife and a mother. I'm none of those things anymore. Eli and I met in our early 20s. I was temping at a receptionist desk. He was fixing the office printer. He stayed after his shift just to help me carry boxes to my car. I bought him coffee the next day as a thank you. One coffee turned into walks. Walks turned into weekends. And then I blinked, and we were building a life. We were never flashy. No big proposals or grand gestures, just steady, consistent love, the kind you can count on, the kind people overlook until it's gone. We got married in a courthouse with 6 guests and a grocery store cake. He wrote his vows on the back of a napkin and still made me cry. We didn't have much, but we made it work. Secondhand furniture, cheap dinners, small dreams, but they felt big with him. I felt big with him. Then came Liam, our boy, our everything. Eli was a better dad than I thought any man could be. Diapers, midnight bottles, lullabies, even when he had to be up for work at 6 a.m. He made parenting look easy, even when I knew it wasn't. He worked maintenance at a hospital, took extra shifts just so I could stay home longer after maternity leave. Every night he came home tired, but he still asked how my day was. One night, Liam had a fever that wouldn't break. I was panicking, Googling symptoms, pacing, spiraling. Eli sat with Liam in his arms, whispering softly, rocking him until the boy finally slept. He kissed my forehead and told me I was a good mom. I broke down in his arms, and he just held me, like always. Like his love wasn't conditional. Like I could fall apart and still be safe. He was that kind of father, that kind of man. I didn't notice the shift at first. Not in him, in me. I stopped putting effort in, stopped caring how I looked, stopped laughing at his jokes. I let the routine of life smother the marriage, and he just tried harder. He booked a weekend getaway once. Rented a little cabin, no Wi-Fi, just the 3 of us. I spent half of it checking my phone, barely looked up. I saw the hurt in his eyes, and I ignored it. I convinced myself he was distant, that I wasn't appreciated, that maybe I needed something more. Enter Tyler, Coach Tyler. He was Liam's new soccer coach, late 20s, confident, charming, the kind of man who looked you in the eye when he talked, who remembered small things. He asked about my job, noticed when I got my hair cut, complimented my shoes. Eli hadn't done that in years. At first, it was innocent. Sideline small talk. Parent-coach check-ins. Then it turned into texts, then late-night texts. Then just us conversations after everyone had gone. I didn't realize how far I'd fallen until I caught myself smiling at my phone while Eli folded laundry next to me. I told myself it was harmless. I wasn't cheating. I was just talking. Just laughing. Just escaping. But then one evening, after practice, it was raining. I stayed back to help Tyler gather cones. He asked if I wanted to sit in his car for a minute, wait for the rain to let up. I did. We talked. About life. About how I felt stuck. About how he felt invisible too, even in his own relationships. And then it just happened. He leaned in. I didn't stop him. I let him kiss me. And in that moment, I became someone I swore I'd never be. I didn't go home right away, drove around aimlessly. I couldn't face Eli. The guilt was eating me alive. I justified to myself. It was a mistake, a one-time thing. When I finally walked through the door, Eli had set the table. He smiled calmly. "I'm sorry the food's a bit cold, love. I left it out for a while now." I couldn't take it. Made up an excuse and went to the bathroom. I cried for an hour in the shower. I wanted to scrub the guilt off of me. When I finally got out, Eli was half asleep. He held me, kissed my forehead, said he loved me in his sleep. I wish I could say that was the end of it, but it wasn't. A week after that kiss, we met again, this time in his car, parked on the far side of a closed soccer field. I don't even remember what we said, just how it felt to be wanted. Then headlights swung into the lot. My heart stopped. It was another parent, dropping off cones they'd borrowed. Tyler ducked down in his seat like a teenager. I threw on my jacket and got out like nothing happened. I laughed, waved, pretended, but my hands were shaking. That was the first time I felt fear. The first time I realized what I was risking, and I still went back. A week later, I met Tyler again. This time at a quiet apartment he said belonged to a friend who was out of town. It wasn't just kissing. We crossed a line we couldn't uncross. After that, we found reasons, excuses, hotels during weekday afternoons, apartments during soccer tournaments. Once, I was lying beside Tyler when Eli called to ask if I'd remembered to pick up paper towels. I told him I was out for a walk. I even laughed at his joke while the other man's hand was still on me. I became a master of scheduling my betrayal. Practices, errands, girls' nights. I made it work. I lived a double life, and somehow convinced myself it was okay. I deserved it. I deserved better. Sometimes I'd watch Eli through the kitchen window while I pretended to be on a call outside. He'd be helping Liam with homework, laughing, pointing at the paper with a pencil. I'd see them, our life, our home, what I was destroying, and still turn back to my texts. Still check if Tyler had replied. I hate who I became. Not just for what I did, but for how I ignored the weight of it, day after day, lie after lie, over time. I started to resent Eli even more. Every kind gesture felt like guilt. Every text felt like pressure. I pulled away, all while blaming him for not being close enough. And Eli? He just tried harder. He found out a few weeks later. A text from Tyler lit up my phone while it was on the charger. Eli saw it. He didn't say anything that night. Didn't yell, didn't cry. He just stared at me for a long time and said, "You don't even look like you anymore." The next morning, he took Liam to school and didn't come back. 3 days later, I was served divorce papers. I tried calling, texting. I stood outside Liam's school just to catch a glimpse. Eli kept his distance, always polite, always calm, but there was steel in his silence. I emailed him a long apology, 3 pages long. He replied with just one sentence. "Liam will be ready at 10 on Saturday." It was like mourning the living, like being erased. He fought for custody. I fought back. He won. Our son picked his father over me. I went from full-time mom to weekend visitor. My son stopped calling me mommy, stopped hugging me, stopped asking when I'd be back. Tyler? He disappeared. Said it was getting too complicated. Moved gyms. Blocked my number. My sister stopped speaking to me. My parents called Eli to apologize on my behalf. He still visits them, with Liam. They still send him birthday cards. I haven't been invited to a holiday dinner since. At Christmas, I sent gifts. Nobody replied. I showed up uninvited once, just wanting to see Liam's face. My mother opened the door halfway and said, "You can't just show up here." I nodded. What was there to say? I wasn't welcome anymore. I traded my life a long time ago. I left the presents on the porch. Weeks later, I saw one in the trash bin outside her house, unopened. Now, I live alone in a rental I can barely afford, working freelance jobs just to keep the lights on. I check Eli's Facebook from an old account, see pictures of Liam smiling again. There's a new woman in some of them. I'm not sure if they're together, but seeing them in the same picture eats me alive. It should have been me. I don't sleep much anymore. I still wake up at 6 a.m., like I'm about to pack Liam's lunch, only to stare at an empty counter. Sometimes I set the table for 2 without thinking. I don't remember the last time Liam called me mom. I play old voicemails just to hear it. I'm not in their world anymore. Just a name on a custody form. A mistake they're learning to forget. I've convinced myself it's for the best. It's better my son knows nothing about his mother. than to know everything about her when he grows up. I traded a good man, a good father, and a steady life for a fantasy. And the worst part is, I knew better. I don't live anymore. I just barely survive. Clinging on to memories of my husband, my son. Eli once told me during a fight, "I can survive a lot of things, just don't lie to me." I did. And he survived. He just didn't take me with him.